Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. I bid to Sir Muhammad Rizwan bin Hashim and to all my fellow classmates. Today, we are from Group 4. We'll be presenting our Seminar 2 with the topic of measuring economic and social impacts. Without further ado, let me introduce to you all of our group members. So, our group consists of 4 members, which are Amiratun Atika binti Karul Amri, Kairunisa binti Madzir, Nur Hazika Maliana binti Sharunizam, and me myself, Nurul Adila binti Abdul Rashid. I will now pass the mic to the next presenter.
Hi, I am Hazika Malena and I will start the presentation with definition of economic impact. Okay guys, what is economic impact? Economic impacts occurs anytime money changes hands from consumer to business or even business to business. We know that the economy includes all activities in a country concerned with the manufacturing, distribution and the use of goods and also services. Hence, the economic impact has affected the businesses in terms of economic climates. Okay, for example, the level of consumer spending affects prices, investment decisions, and the number of workers that businesses employ. Therefore, we can say that economic impact is the impact of an organization's activities on the economy's infrastructure and its financial relationship with the government.
Hi, next, me Kairunisa binti Mahazir will be presenting the costs that will be involved in order to protect and enhance the environment. And the first cost is wastewater treatment. In order to protect the environment, the company might have incurred the cost of wastewater treatment. Wastewater is a used water. It includes substances such as human waste, food scraps, oil, soaps, and chemicals. In homes, this includes water from sinks, showers, bathtubs, toilets, and more. We consider wastewater treatment as a water use because it is so interconnected with the other uses of water. Much of the water used by homes, industry, and businesses must be treated before it is released back to the environment. There are a lot of good reasons why keeping our water clean is an important priority since clean water is critical to plants and animals that live in water and future generations. Thus, if it is not properly clean, water can carry disease. Since we live, work, and play so close to water, harmful bacteria have to be removed to make water safe. The second one is the cost of packaging. Plastic packaging is taking over the supermarket, enveloping almost every food product we buy. Environmental activists say that the material is causing the planet huge environmental damage and that the chemical industry should do more to make packaging easier to recycle. The industry can help but acknowledge the negative consequences of plastic waste. Companies are responding by making plastics thinner, saving on materials and environmental impact. They are also beginning to make packages simpler and thus easier to recycle. With such steps, they hope to head off a serious backlash. The next one is the cost of collecting and disposing waste. Waste collection is a part of the process of waste management. It is the transfer of solid waste from the point of use and disposal to the point of treatment or landfill. Household waste in economically developed countries will generally be left in waste containers or recycling bins prior to collection by a waste collector using a waste collection vehicle. The waste collection vehicle will often take the waste to a transfer station where it will be loaded up into a larger vehicle and sent to either a landfill or alternative waste treatment facility. Hence, challenges arise every day as society tosses out more and more waste. The number of landfills available for use continues to decline. Regulations grow and the cost of providing services increases. Financially and logistically, the management of solid waste is becoming ever more difficult. In fact, managing society's waste is not a simple task and it is not cheap.
Assalamualaikum. Hi everyone, I am Amiratun Atika. In this presentation, I will cover the topic of how to measure the economic impact. Just so you know, people define economic impact in different ways according to the scope and focus of their study. I will take 3 examples of situations or scope and explain how they measure their economic impact. I will first start on how to measure the economic impact of tourism. There are 3 main analysis methods which allow the calculation of tourism's economic impact, which are described as next slide. The purpose of the analysis of importance, also known as significant analysis, is to determine the size and structure of the tourist sector from national account data, taking into account both domestic and international spending. This system focuses on determining the tourism sector's percentage of total spending and gross domestic product, also known as GDP. It contains general system principles as well as specifics on methods for calculating the tourism sector's contribution to various forms of consumption and activities and displaying them in numbers and tables. Next is impact analysis. Impact analysis examines the economic impact of money spent by external tourists as well as money returned from foreign tourism to domestic tourism on a region's economy, whether it is a direct, such as on hotels and restaurants, transportation, museums and retailers, or indirect, on income and employment, taking into account the nature of the tourism sector's interaction with other economic sectors. This approach is flexible in terms of the degree of circularity, and it can be used to examine the overall influence of tourism on the economy of the state as a whole, or the impact of specific type of tourist spending on a specific type of tourist activity. Last but not least is the cost-benefit analysis. It is a type of analysis that focuses on the feasibility and efficiency of tourism projects from the perspective of society, and it is interested in measuring private and social benefit, such as the educational value of tourism, as well as private and social costs, such as the environmental impact of tourism. The second example is how to measure economic impact on an event or activity that we do in our daily life. Most economic impact studies focus on three broad measures, which are income, direct spending, and visitor indirect spending. To account for the degree of change from financial inputs to economic outputs, income must be measured. Ticket sales, merchandising and catering, public financing, and sponsorship may have provided revenue, which is referred to as income. This information is easily accessible from financial records. Next, the direct expenditure of a project or activity will cover all necessary running costs, such as a supplier purchases, employee wages, rent and overheads, and taxation. Again, this data is easily accessed from financial records. Lastly, visitors and audiences will not only purchase tickets and spend money at the venue or event, but they will also produce ancillary expenditure in the form of transportation costs, lodging, food and drink, and any additional entertainment such as visits to museums or karaoke. After a representative sample has been polled, estimates of typical visitor spending can be made. Next, we'll be moved on to how to measure the economic impacts on COVID-19. The effects of COVID-19 on Malaysia's economy may be measured in the country's high unemployment rate and the Malaysian ringgit's depreciation versus the US dollar. Malaysia's unemployment rate in 2019 is 3.3%, which translates to 508,200 unemployed people. The COVID-19 epidemic has had a significant influence on Malaysia's economy. This can be demonstrated by comparing Malaysia's unemployment rate. The unemployment rate is 3.2% in January 2020, but it will continue to rise until May 2020 when it will reach 5.3%. This is not a good sign because there is a downward trend in labor demand. On the other hand, the relative level of economic health can be determined by the foreign exchange rate. This is due to the fact that the foreign exchange rate has a significant impact on country's volume of trade. Malaysia's exchange rate for March 2019 is 4 ringgit and 8 cent to 1 US dollar, and it has fallen to 4 ringgit and 26 cent to 1 US dollar in July 2020. Weaker exchange rates will cause cost-push inflation as the price of imported raw commodities rises. This will have an impact on practically all sectors in Malaysia, particularly the manufacturing sector, because the majority of machineries are imported from China and Japan. Weakening currency reduces Malaysian ringgit purchasing power by requiring more Malaysian ringgit to be exchanged for US dollars. This suggests that Malaysians' living standards are falling as a result of decreasing purchasing power.
Now, I will explain about the positive and negative economic impact to business which relates to the environment. Let's start with the positive economic impact. The first positive economic impact to an organization is that it will help in building a positive image of the company. This is because a company's brand value will improve by promoting environmental responsible activities as well as implementing programs that helps to reduce environmental issues such as going plastic free and using paper bags instead. Being an environmental friendly company will also attract potential employees and helps to retain workers in the company. The second positive economic impact to an organization is that it will help to increase the sales of the company. Promoting public awareness regarding environmental issues affects the goods or services that the company is serving to its customers. This will gradually affect the customer's preference and buying behavior. Let's say the company is selling drinks. They might as well try to promote the customers to switch to their brand's tumbler so that the use of plastic cups and straws can be reduced. By doing this, the sales of their tumbler will definitely increase. Next, I will explain about the negative economic impact to an organization if they choose not to care about the environmental issues. Firstly, the company will definitely need to pay for the costs associated in conducting environmental management. For example, the cost of packaging, water treatment plant, cost of minimizing waste, as well as collecting and disposing waste. The cost incurred will result in low profit of the company due to high costs. In addition, as a result of the company needing to incur additional costs to conduct environmental management, they might need to increase their product price or opt to reduce the quality of the raw materials used to produce their products. This is to help them to recover the costs incurred in conducting environmental management. However, by doing so, the company may lose its customer as they are unable to maintain a reasonable price and the quality of their products or services.
Okay, now we will continue our presentation with social impact. What is social impact? Social impact is the positive change that an organization has created or affected over time to address a pressing social issue. This can be a local or global effort to tackle things like climate change, racial inequity, hunger, poverty, homelessness, or any other problem our community is facing. It is the portion of the total outcome gained from the result of the organization's activity and has affected the company stakeholder relationship, which involves the both internal and external stakeholders. Moreover, social impact also can be about helping those in need, providing resources and advocacy, or it can be about lessening the negative effects of doing businesses.
Now, we'll move to the elements in measuring the social impact. The first element is input, which means projects that are invested are measured as a cost that includes financial and non-financial resources. For example, money, time, staff, and more. The second one is output that implies what is done or offered in the project. For instance, a training program provides a graduates. And the third one is the outcome that refers to what the program wishes to achieve. Example includes is the result of a training program might be the number of graduates who get a job. And lastly is impact. This is the degree to what effect took place because of the program and activities. For example, the impact of graduating from a training program may eventually lead to a better quality of life for the individual.
Hi everybody, it's me again. If just now I had to share with you on how to measure the economic impact, now we will move on to how to measure social impact. The one that I am about to share with you is how to measure social impact in a company. The first step is to start with realistic reformation model. The logic model or reformation model is the first thing an organization should work on in order to put their social impact into context. This model should incorporate the company's goal and objective for addressing one or more social challenges. The reformation model should specify the process that will be used by the organization to accomplish the desired impact. Most organizations fail to develop a defined plan during their first theory of change, resulting in inconsistent measurements along the way. The second step is listing the salient performance indicator. It is time for the following phase when an organization has developed a proper reformation strategy or philosophy of change to address societal challenges through their operations. The organization must now decide which social impact measures to use in order to achieve the desired objective. Companies can either select a set of indicators from social impact program providers or simply focus on the ones that are most significant to their overall purpose. Typically, these are the ones with the broadest reach to their intended impact and accurately identify their success rate in the particular field. The third step is effectively collecting and analyzing data, which the process through which companies collect and analyze their data plays a vital role in improving their social impact programs in the future. This step is perhaps the most critical part of measuring social impact. The fourth step is putting the result to use. After a company has collected the data on the specified performance indicators, they should handpick all the relevant information and evaluate the results for use. Since the primary purpose of measuring social impact is to use it for future improvements, any collected quantitative external and internal data regarding social impact was not used by the organization effectively, it might go useless. We have come to an end where a crucial aspect of how to measure social impact is to present it effectively to the masses by communicating the social impact measurements. Let's face it, if you collect mounds of data concerning a strategy that costs you a percentage of your revenue only for it to be incomprehensible to the public would be a total waste. That's why, after the measurement, data collection, and result compilation processes have been completed, the next step is to develop a detailed impact report. This report may be included in company's yearly progress report or released separately.
So, why is it important to measure the social impact of environmental costs? Firstly, it will help to improve the activity of program management, which includes effective planning that has proper guidelines for the business. Secondly, it will help to attract additional funds from potential investors, as well as retaining the existing investors' confidence in the organization. And lastly, the organization can improve their performance in delivering its core business offerings to gain more revenues, as well as minimizing its costs.
Okay, when we talk about social impacts, the application elements of social impacts can be seen from conducting online business. By applying elements of social impact through online business, it may benefit both sellers and also consumers. An online business is a business conducted entirely on the internet. Online business may encompass selling goods and services. Therefore, the transaction impacts sellers and buyers through social media such as Instagram, Facebook, and more. Okay, there are four elements which are input, output, income, and impact. The input can be illustrated when an organization conducts an online business program and incurs some direct and indirect costs relating to the program. Next, output from the online businesses program occurs when a number of participants join the program to enhance their selling and marketing strategy through online businesses. Okay, as an example, there are 50 participants learn to sell their products through social media platforms such as Instagram. The outcome would be that the number of people who started an online business improved their personal circumstances as they found that it is an effective strategy to sell products using the social media platforms. Okay, lastly, the online business gives social impact where 45 out of 50 participants are able to develop the online application in managing their businesses.
And now I will share with you guys the positive and negative social impacts towards environment and organization. We'll begin with the positive impact. The first one is it will help the firm to improve program management in more effective and efficient ways to achieve project sustainability without affecting the environment and society. It can be achieved by creating objects of durability and long-term utility whose ultimate use or disposition will not be harmful to the future generations. And the next one is by integrating environmental, social, human, and economic goals in business policies. And the last one is by using natural resources in efficient ways. Secondly, it will improve the quality of living in the society, and everyone could enjoy their moments happily living in a healthier environment. The environment directly affects a health status and plays a major role in quality of life, years of healthy life lived, and health disparities. A healthy living environment is safe and attractive, invites everyone to engage with one another, promotes healthy behaviors, and is pleasant to live in. As for the negative impact, it will contribute to the losing assets or lands including gardens or limited forest reserve. Logging is needed to improve social life such as providing construction materials, flooring wood, furniture, food for industry, and other kinds of commodities. However, the removal of trees and other types of vegetation reduce available food, shelter, and breeding habitat. Wild animals need suitable habitat areas where they are safe, secure, and comfortable. They use these areas for resting, sleeping, feeding, breeding, hiding, and escaping predators. But when we disrupt these areas, animals lose access to the important resources and become exposed to new threats. The second one is affecting the ability of people to adapt and mitigate the effects of climate change. The last decade was the hottest in human history, and we are already experiencing the impacts of climate change, with wildfires, floods, and hurricanes becoming regular events that threatens life, and livelihoods, and food security. Climate change also affects the survival of microbes and facilitates the spread of virus. Societies need to cope with climate variability and changing environmental conditions. People have been adjusting to their environment since the dawn of civilization. Agriculture is one of the easiest examples, as farmers have had to continually adjust cultivation and breeding practices to vary with the climate condition.
So now, we will look further into the example of social impact. To incorporate social impact into a business mission, we need to focus on improving our practices to do less harm or look outward to help the community through grant making or giving programs. Focus on empowerment and humility. Okay, for example, the global toy company, which is Lego. Lego's policies can have an outsized effect on local communities. The company is very committed to protecting people and environment through every step of the Lego making process. Lego lays out expectations for all suppliers, production sites, and partners in its 12 Responsible Business Principle document. This document covers responsibilities around transparency and ethics, as well as workers' rights in terms of reasonable hours, fair wages, health and safety, child labour, family-friendly workplaces, and environmental impacts. Okay, with third-party audits and thorough reviews, Lego ensures that it's protecting both the people and the resources that help make their products.
In conclusion, social and economic have many positive and negative impacts that will affect individuals, businesses, as well as society. To be able to sustain in the long run, companies need to organize activities that promote the environment's well-being. This is because many environmental issues arise today directly contributed by the company that is irresponsible. Moreover, it is also our duty as an individual to take care of our environment so that our future generations can experience the quality of living as we are having now. That's all from us. Thank you.